Hello YouTubers, welcome to my video. I wanted to make an update video on my 44-gallon Pentagon Reef saltwater tank. I've added a lot of things to it since I believe my last video was in January, I think. I just wanted to walk you through some of the upgrades I've done to it. First thing we'll look at is the Auto Top Off system. I went with a JBJ Auto Top Off. Seems to be doing great. It comes with two of the little sensors or floats. You can see the one here inside my aquarium, and I put the other one in my water reservoir, which is a 5-gallon bucket. You can see I put two holes in the lid. The back one has my hose and my cord. The front one opposite of that, you can see out here in the daylight, is a hole for me to fill my bucket up. I use my siphon, my vacuum siphon thing for my gravel, and just put the bucket up higher than this and siphon my water down in it where I don't have to take the lid off or pull that out and mess anything up. Seems to work wonderful. The float is in there, and it's set to where when the water gets so low it shuts the pump off, so the pump won't run dry. Works great so far. It's run out of water once since I've had it. Filled it back up and everything was a go. One thing I did have problems with was the pump. Couldn't find a pump strong enough to work. First pump I started off with was the Tom pump, 15 bucks. Everyone ranting and raved about. Says it'll pump water 30 inches out of this tube. It'll pump water about 12 inches. It's basically useless. I wouldn't recommend it. It's good for what I use it for acclimating my fish and corals, and maybe a dosing pump. But as far as an auto top off, if you had a 5-gallon aquarium, it might work, but you can't use it for anything other than that. The JBJ will shut your pumps off after 3 minutes from the factory. It's factory set at 3 minutes, and it would take half a day for that pump to fill my 44-gallon up. So it was basically useless for me. I think you can set this up to 7 minutes, but after 7 minutes, that's the max. It'll cut your pump off and it'll quit working. You can see my return hose. I just zip strapped it onto the Reef Octopus 1/2-inch hose. It fills it up pretty quick. Of course, you can adjust it. Next thing, let's see what we get. Next thing, I got this current orbit LED light. This is the 24-inch model. I struggled for a month or so trying to figure out with this odd-shaped aquarium how to put a light on. What I did was took the old lid that you saw in the video and cut the corner pieces off and made a bracket kind of, or what have you, to set the light on. Seems to work perfect for me. Went with this light for the main reason was the cost. It's an LED light for about 150 bucks with more controls and features than a $500 or $600 light. This has a 24-hour time set that you can set your whites, blues, sunset, sunrise, everything you want. We've all seen the controls, I think, on it. It works wonderful, and for 150 bucks. I kind of had an issue paying $400 or $500, even $600 for a LED light that you had to go to Walmart and buy a $5 timer to plug in the wall to have it shut on and off. And then very few of them you can control the blues and whites. I didn't see a lot of sense in that. I know they make them, but a lot of them they don't. This seems to be working great for me. It comes with a chart and tells you the par and as far as what depth. This is 24-inch, and it shows, you can go on the chart and say, hey, I can put my SPSs down at the bottom, or it tells you, breaks down what you can put where. For 150 bucks, I didn't see where you could go wrong. If anyone's had this for more than 6 months or so and has a bad experience, let me know, because right now I don't see any downfalls with it, especially for 100 bucks. Next thing I got was the Jebao or Jebao, how do you say it? The WP25 model wave maker. I've never had a wave maker, but I would assume their main function is to make waves, and this does it great. You can see the waves at the top of my tank. This is on the lowest setting. You put this on the highest setting and it'll shoot waves out over the corner of my tank. You can see some of my corals there going back and forth. Seems to work fantastic. It's got a little sensor in it on the control box. You can see I've got covered up with duct tape. What it does when the aquarium lights goes out, that shuts off your power head, or your power head inside the tank, to just half the speed and a slow variable speed where everything can kind of rest. The reason I got this duct tape over it is I've got a light directly above my aquarium in my house, and it wouldn't trip it when the aquarium lights went out. So I made a little half box and taped it on there. That way it's the other side of that box you can't see is open, and the aquarium light hits it. So when the lights go out in the aquarium, it shuts off like it's supposed to. Next thing I bought was the CPR Refugium. This is the medium CPR, 19 inches, holds a couple gallons of water, I think. There's a lot of pros and cons I read about Refugiums, but one thing this Refugium does do for me, we all know the more water you have in your tank, the better off you are. I only have probably 30-ish gallons of water with these rocks and stuff in it, so at night when I turn my lights off, my pH would drop too much because there's not enough water in there. So with this Refugium, I turn my lights on the Refugium when my display tank goes out, and it keeps my pH balanced right at 8.0 24 hours a day. So that's one thing it does do for me. I've got 500 or 600 copepods in there. You can see my algae back there growing great. I did put sand in it. A lot of people like the Miracle Mud. I didn't really want to. I was told the Miracle Mud depletes, and about every 2 or 3 months you got to pour more in it. I really didn't see how that was going to. I didn't want to mess with that, so I just put the sand in it. You can see there's brown algae, red algae, coralline algae growing in it. Let me get over here where I can see. You might notice my light on top. I'll kind of explain that to you. This is just a 10-gallon Perfecto black light. I've got a Coralife 50/50 bulb in it. You can see my stuff in there, how brown it is. Hope that's focusing okay. I don't know how long this light's going to hold up, but here's my issue I had with it. First of all, it's inexpensive if it doesn't hold up. I had the light that everyone likes and orders with them, the CPR model or what have you, light that sets on top with this bulb. The first thing that's wrong with this bulb is you can only get one style bulb in it, with this pin thing. So you're stuck at a 13 or whatever watt. You can't get anything else. Second of all, it sets up over and has clearance up above the Refugium. But when the lights go out, the light from this fixture will shine down bright inside your tank. So you got to rig up a piece of cardboard or something in front of it to keep the tank keep your show tank from the light being in it. I really didn't care for that. And with this light here, it's just a T8 bulb. You can get I suppose a plant bulb or 50/50 or blue, complete blue. There's a lot of different selections you can get with it. There's no salt water splashing up on it, so I'm hoping that it will last. It kind of looks good on there. It's black and blends in. When I adjust it correctly, all the light goes away from it. So it looks okay. It just hangs over about a ½ inch. Does a pretty good job, I guess. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm going to keep my other one in case it doesn't last. I did make a pretty nice lid for this out of plexiglass I got from Lowe's. It looked great, but I screw around with my corals and rearrange too much to have to be taken on and off. So other than that, I've still got my Reef Octopus. It's running great. I have my reactor with half carbon, half GFO in it. Seems to work great. If you have any comments, especially about the current light, if you've had one or had any bad experiences with it with coral, I'd like to know. And any comments, I've read about everything there is to read about them on the Refugium. But it does the pH for me, which is great. Gives my copepods a place to hang out and breed and reproduce. So it seems, and you can see all the algae that's in here, and you can see all the algae that's not in here. So there must be some truth to it. The only algae that's on there is what the snails and fish can't eat off. You can see in the vents of these pumps a little bit. Of course, there's some on the back, but it's not any more than you can scrape off. You can see it's not on my rocks. I tend to believe that lights off in here, the algae grows in the back. I don't know. Anyway, thoughts or comments on that? Anyway, hope you enjoy. Please subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you later.